Hiya. Good morning. Welcome to my compound life. It's the morning around 9:30 a.m. It's the Saturday, 27th of December. I hope all of you have great Christmas. This is a channel where we build assets, we build great habits to manage all of our assets, and more importantly, ultimately, we build freedom. That should really be financial freedom as well as time freedom for you and I, for everyone else that watches my video. So this is another episode of Bitcoin Daily. So let's get into the price action for Bitcoin. As of time of recording, Bitcoin is at around 87,500. So Bitcoin has been trading around 87,000 to 88,000 in the past 24 hours. It went down a small 0.5% to about 1%, starting from around 88,000, hitting a high near 88,500 and low around 87,000. So the market still feels very, very slow because of holiday. It's a given. It's, everyone's on Christmas. The traders doesn't want to trade. And not many people are buying or selling right now. So tiny, smaller price movement. But having said that, this is the time where market maker manipulation, really comes in during the small liquidity period. Around 2:30 p.m. UK time yesterday, right? That's around 9:30, 10-ish US time frame. Bitcoin dropped a fast 2,300 fast drop that liquidated over $66 million worth of long within a small 45 minutes time frame. So essentially, 60 billion worth of dollar wipe off crypto market. So I guess it's very, very small, right? I think yesterday we did some estimate, it was 430 million worth of liquidation per day, right? So I think compared to yesterday, it was rather small, right? I think, yeah, so it really does showcase market makers are in control a lot of time, especially during, they're definitely taking the low liquidity period. Let me switch that off. So implication for Bitcoin price, I think in the short term, it's just neutral to bearish, with small drops, of course, but very, very weak buying interest, right? And yeah, I think it can easily go further downwards if no news or bad news occur, right? So bear that in mind. Okay, so let's take a quick look in terms of fear and greed index. Fear and greed index right now is at around 22. Yesterday was 21. And a quick look into ETF buy-in, right? Because we've had a half a day worth of trading yesterday. Bitcoin ETF on the 26th of December, it was bearish at $83 million. So giving us a weekly close for Bitcoin ETF to also be bearish. So weekly was $506 million worth of outflow. Similar to last week, it was 497 million worth of outflow. So essentially, we had two bearish week. Of course, the week ending on the 12th of December, it was a positive inflow of 286 million. But of course, this amount of inflow essentially is not big enough to cover the recent 2 weeks outflow. Ethereum ETF, 26th of December 2025, outflow of 16.6 million. If we look through the weekly performance, Ethereum for this week was bearish, total outflow of $63 million. Compared to last week, it was even more bearish for Ethereum. Total of $643 million worth of outflow for last week. So in comparison this week, maybe slightly better, right? It's like 10 times less outflow. Only people that are buying, it's essentially Tom Lee now. In terms of Solana ETF, as of yesterday, it had a, let me see, yesterday. Okay, there's no data for yesterday, 26th of December. I mean, I'm looking at far side data. It's currently showing 0, means no inflow or outflow. Maybe the data delayed. But anyway, I think for the week closing of Solana ETF, we are still bullish for Sol ETF at around 13.14 million. Compared to last week, it was 66 million. The week before was 37 million. And all of this that I've mentioned are all inflow. So for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks, Solana ETF has been bullish with mainly inflows, right? So from the time of inception, sometime in October until December, so October, November, December, Solana actually has been mainly inflow, so bullish for Solana. So let's quick recap. For December 2025, Solana had a total inflow of 137 million. For November, Solana had a total inflow of $419 million worth of inflow, and for October, Solana had about 199 million worth of dollars for inflow. Okay, so here you go. That's the ETF update. So let's take a quick look in terms of news that moves Bitcoin price section. We'll get into the viewers' comments and questions at the very end, so do stick around. To watch that too. Okay, so news that moves Bitcoin price. U.S. government shutdown news, possibly with a government shutdown by the 31st of January. And yes, there's news about possible U.S. government shutdown again by January the 31st, 2026. So let me explain this simply. What it's about: Congress, they do not have any agreement on the new budget deal. So last funding bill ends sometime in January 30th of January 2026. If no new bill, government shutdown start January 31st. This means many federal service like park, some workers, no pay, delayed tax fund, etc., right? We have all been through U.S. government shutdown before, right? Total shit show for Bitcoin and crypto. So risk now is 38% high. Say some expert that U.S. government will definitely shut down again. And with Congress leaves for holiday, right? At present, Christmas, New Year, etc. It makes this tension even, tougher for everyone. So why exactly the shutdown, right? So U.S. have long shutdown, about 43 days recent, because fight overspend. Now again, Democrats, Republican not in agreement how to spend the money, like for border, health, military. So Trump admin want change, but no votes yet. So shutdown happens when no fund approved, like big family. You get into argument about budget. And yeah, it will potentially affect millions of people. Economy slow down. A little bit like, like remember that shutdown back in October until recent early December, that huge effect. There's some that say Bitcoin dropped from its high of, that some people actually said it was totally due to the government shutdown that Bitcoin dropped from 136K now onto about 88,000, all because of low liquidity due to government shutdown. So maybe this could be the case again, right? So definitely short-term bearish. I'm not even sure whether it will have immediate impact on the Bitcoin price over the weekend or even next week. So we'll see. But certainly shutdown really makes market scarce, and people, when people are afraid, they'll sell off Bitcoin, and potentially price can drop, 10%, 15% further down, right? So take note of that, and yeah, don't do leverage. And of course, another news that I don't think will affect Bitcoin price action directly, but it's interesting to call it out. So the California 70 billion loss news. Okay, $70 billion. Okay, yes, news about California state lose over 70 billion taxpayer money, not missing like the money got hidden somewhere, but lost from bad spend and fraud. So what it's all about. So 92 pages report from California state auditor find huge waste, right? Include 2.5 billion SNAP food aid fraud, 24 billion spent on homeless, but no tracks, nothing, nothing tracked, like whether it has realistically and genuinely distributed to for the homeless. So nothing tracked, right? $18 billion other misuse, like millions for unused cell phones, fee, etc. Yeah, so essentially 8 state agency failed audit show no good control of money for the California state. So poor money management, right? So of course, why it really matters is because California is such a big state, right? So this tax money from people, now budget hole of $73 billion deficit with surplus before, right? So this poor money management gives, poor money management, it does, every time money gets distributed, there's no check, there's no validation, etc. It makes people angry and lower trust, right? Of course, not just in the state of California, but in general for the whole of the US, right? So it certainly will spread into the wider fear in the US economy and resulting people to sell Bitcoin in the short term. But I certainly hope people will also see the fact that with such poor money management, right, the only way that they can protect their wealth is to move it into Bitcoin. All right, so there are pros and cons at looking at such news. And of course, another news that I think will have some implication on Bitcoin price in the short term will be, in the short term and long term. So silver explode high again, right? So plenty of awareness now is going into silver. Awareness, mindshare from investors, from traders, etc., right? So liquidity continue to pour into metal, specifically silver. So silver hit all-time high of $78, up about 9% one day. 9%, where's our 9% gain for Bitcoin, right? Nothing. So investing in Bitcoin, you receive no gains, right? But that's fine. we're just all waiting for our time. So silver added 2.5 trillion market cap, up about 170% for 2025. So silver, what can you use for silver? For solar, for electric car, for electronics. Yeah. So silver definitely outperforms stock, gold, Bitcoin for sure. Show money, go to metal now. And it's really stealing the mindshare away from Bitcoin investing, right? And make Bitcoin look really underperform, weak. But of course, money can move to crypto later, right? We are all waiting for that rotation. Of course, at time of posting, I think there isn't a huge Bitcoin movement yet, but I think short-term wise, it is pretty bearish for Bitcoin. Could lead on to more sell pressure. I've set some indicators that about 38% worth of Bitcoin supply are actually not in profit, right? So investors of such potentially will look at Bitcoin as well as silver and gold and think that, for me to lose on Bitcoin right now, maybe I'll shift some of that investment into silver or gold and try to claw that back for next year, right? So we shall see. Other interesting news, Wells Fargo, they bought big. $2 trillion Wells Fargo bought 383 million Bitcoin ETF, right, yesterday. Why it matters, I think big banks buy show trust, growth, etc. for Bitcoin. Definitely having more institutions adoption will make the fear to eventually go away. The fear of buying Bitcoin, the fear of buying underperforming assets. That kind of thinking needs to go, right? The fear of will October 10th happen again? That kind of fear needs to go, right? So time, is the best to make all of this fear going away. And with more big companies buy on Bitcoin, not just on Bitcoin, but also on Bitcoin ETF, can really make the fears goes away. Okay, and Fed inject money. US Fed inject $2.5 billion to bank system. Fed in US central bank add more money to help economy. So that's good. Short-term wise, I think it's bullish because more money can flow into asset like Bitcoin, help liquidity, push prices up. For long-term wise, I think as long as US Fed continue to print money, it will be positive, very, very positive for Bitcoin. And of course, this is an interesting one. Baron Trump is filthy rich. Okay, so Baron Trump makes over $80 million from Bitcoin and crypto. That's according to Forbes. So ask yourself the question, was he the bloke behind all of the leverage trade? The guy that went onto Hyperliquid that made massive trade just before President Trump did the tariffs announcement. Okay, I'm constantly thinking that was that Baron Trump. Anyway, Tom Lee is still very vocal about Bitcoin super cycle for 2026. I've made some video before, go watch that specifically for Tom Lee's and Arthur Hayes' Bitcoin price prediction if you haven't watched that. I think it's good to believe in that kind of prediction. No, it's not good to believe in that kind of prediction. You need to make your own judgment and sandbag the hell out of those predictions. Okay, but bear in mind, it's always good to have someone still bullish and can see some more upwards movement in the Bitcoin and crypto market for next year. But don't treat that literally, and believe that, we are definitely getting into a super cycle, right? Because influencers or analyst influencers of such, they actually have incentives behind to talk about this, to talk about potential super cycle, to continue to let us retail to believe that, there are hope, right? So bear that in mind. Always remember to take profits when we're going up, right? That is the big and most effective means of saving your bag. Okay. Another news to call out, Visa. Do you guys still use Visa card, MasterCard? So Visa said crypto now mainstream for holiday gifts in 2025. This comes from their big survey. So Visa did a survey with Morning Consult Company in October 2025. They asked approximately 1,000 people in the US about shopping. Survey show 28% people excited to receive crypto as gift, right? Do you guys give crypto as gift? Let me know in the comment section if you do, right? Because I understand a lot of people, they might have teenage children, they might play some online games and need USDT or USDC to power up, right? So let me know in the comment section if you guys also, gift crypto as gift, as opposed to giving traditional presents as gift. So yeah, I think 28% of people excited to get crypto as gift, like Bitcoin or other coins, for young Gen Z born between 1997 to 2012. They said crypto like normal gifts now, so it's not weird anymore to receive them. So that's good, right? It's becoming widely accepted. So more people use crypto in real life, not just trade like you and me, but genuinely use case for Bitcoin and crypto. They find people use AI and crypto more for shopping. For example, Gen Z buy gifts overseas, 60% use social media, 55% use social media, prefer digital wallet, 36%. Also, 1 in 10 think stablecoin like USDC will take over by 2030. I think that makes sense too, right? Interesting finding, no doubt. Overall, not a lot of news to cover. For the past 24 hours, slow for Bitcoin, around 87,000 to 88,000. Small down, but it kind of hoping that it will continue to hold, and especially going through New Year's. For me, no news, stable Bitcoin, it's good news. Just don't drop further. I'm sure you guys feel the same too. Let me know in the comment section, right? We just want peaceful New Year's, right? So no big news, no black swan or whatever that comes in that will affect the Bitcoin price to drop even further. I'm sure many of you wants to see that. And eventually by 2026 comes, it will pump, and then it gives us that super cycle. I'm sure all of us are hopeful for that, right? Of course, I think, this quiet time, we shall see plenty of manipulation by market maker, right? So bear that in mind. So macro metal stock high show Bitcoin weak for the short term, and we just all hoping for that rotation to come, not anytime soon, but sometime in 2026, right? Maybe end of Q1. or even end of Q2, right? So we shall see. Rotation will eventually come, but bear in mind it won't be anytime soon. Okay, but of course, Bitcoin RSI is very, very low now, right? So today, looking at the chart, 14 days RSI, relative strength index, by the way, that stands for Bitcoin, is around 36. So anything above 70, essentially, it means very high, Bitcoin price will drop very, very soon, right? Any of the RSI indicator that highlight 30, right? So currently with 36, anything highlight 30 or below, essentially it means too low, oversold, maybe price will go up soon, right? So for now, 36, it's deemed as rather low, and hoping it's a bullish sign that sellers are tired, and maybe, I'm just talking about maybe, they might be about soon. So price can definitely go up a little bit, right? Will we still see a Santa rally, right? Drop a comment, let me know whether we'll see a Santa rally before the 31st of December this year. Will there be any more Santa rally, right? Because personally, I don't think we'll see anything anytime soon, right? Okay, that's it. That's it for all the news for today. Let's all move on to viewers' comments. Okay, the first comment, well, that I'll highlight. Hey, by the way, I haven't got time to go through all the comments, but thanks. I'm really appreciative for you guys to leave me comments. It's always good that I know that I'm not talking to myself, right? I know that you guys do listen to me, right? So thank you so much for leaving me comments. Hit the like, hit subscribe so that you can keep up with me on my daily Bitcoin video. Okay, so one of the viewer 2 days ago left me a message. Lord Sender 69. Lord Sender 69. Apology if I can't pronounce it correctly. So his message was, I think there's a rally only cause of Trump's movement to being pro-crypto. If we pass the Clarity Act, Genius Act, and with tariff refunds checks flow Q1, I believe the rally is in Q2 with new Fed chair, but it takes time, like you said, so maybe July or Q3 rally. First off, thank you, thank Lord Sander 69. I think so too. Whether we get the good rally will all depends on whatever you've just listed, right? So all of them boxes needs to be ticked. But I'm also now afraid that if there's another government shutdown, potentially things might get delayed more. And with potential more Bitcoin downside, right? So the more we have government shutdown, no data, whatever, right? So it's gonna be pretty bad. But I think one of the viewer, A-Train 1983, I think I'm guessing he, right? As I've checked my YouTube stats, 100% of all my viewers are actually male. So assuming A-Train 1983 is a he. So he wanted cheap Bitcoin at 55K and with money ready to deploy. So good for A-Train too. So overall, I think Lord Sender 69, I kind of felt if we have to drop, right, just let it drop fast, right? Let the government shut down, continue 31st of January, and immediately let Bitcoin, crypto, everything just drop all in one go, right? But in the short term, give us a V-shaped recovery, right? And bring back some confidence. Because I think during the government shutdown, no data, no rate cut, lack of liquidity, Bitcoin price will definitely drop, right? So I hope the faster it drops, the quicker the rebounds, So that's what I'm hoping for. Another viewer, Macker89. Hello, Macker89. Good to see you again. Thanks for leaving me such a lovely comment. Merry Christmas, Jonathan. Always looking for opportunity to stack sats. I think there will be a small rally with December 26 options expiries. But still not 100% convinced we are in the 70% overall drop bear market. Thanks for the message. Yes, had a great Christmas this year in the UK, as previously I was mainly in Asia traveling, right? Because I used to work in Asia, now I'm back in the UK. So yes, very, very good Christmas in the UK with the friends, with the family and so forth. Yes, initially I was hoping for a small rally after the expiry, right? Options expiry, but I think market maker just came in and swooped in all the longs. So there goes my rally. But for now, I think what you're doing, it's great, right? You know, finding more opportunity to stack sats. But surely continue to DCA or pound cost average in the UK. So that seemed to be the only ways for us to win, for us buying Bitcoin in spots, right? So yeah, continue to do that. And Macker89 also left me another note for thank you for these occasional long form video. I enjoy the insight into why people invest and how they invest from personal experiences. I myself am very near completing my HODL bag. Fantastic. And I'm definitely looking forward to make a swing bag. This is such a great news. Congrats, Macker89, for nearly completion of your HODL bag. Yes, I guess once you get into a certain stage of your investment or Bitcoin stacking or whatever other investment that you have, you will eventually want to cash out and cash out some lifestyle chips. So that's why I have a swing bag, and that's why I encourage many of you to have that swing bag too, because it's mentally you want to lock that HODL bag away, right? Keep it safe, right? Because we are in an environment where you need to protect your wealth, because essentially if you hold a hardware device, a hardware wallet, you need to protect that, right? So make sure you lock that away, that you cannot immediately get access into it, but you still want to make sure that it's still easier enough for you to sell your Bitcoin or sell your crypto in a very short time frame, because what if market crash or anything, what if quantum computing comes, suddenly some kid in China made some computer that just does some kick-ass quantum stuff, right? So you still need to make sure you can still access to it, but in a way you're still being protected from it, from hackers, from people physically coming to steal your crypto, or even the government. Something I learned today, right? I think from January the 1st in the UK, the HMRC, the government, they can go into your bank account and take money off you if they felt that you haven't paid enough tax. And one thing for sure, right? They cannot take all of your money. They still need to leave about £5,000 in your bank account. But imagine that, right? Imagine you having 100,000, 200,000, 250,000 pound in your bank account, and all of a sudden, government thinks that what, this person he helped too much. He hasn't paid enough tax, right? Hasn't paid enough wealth tax. So we're gonna go in, swoop, and take all of his wealth away and leave him with £5,000, right? So make sure you also get yourself protected. So this is why I do see more and more people, especially someone with slightly more disposable income, right, that want to protect their wealth, not just for the short term, but for the longer term period of time. More and more people will get into Bitcoin adoption, right? So yes, I think fantastic to see that, you almost done with your HODL back, and then you're thinking about a swing back. So huge congrats. But by the way, Mac 89, one thing to reiterate, the HODL back can potentially grow bigger too, right? So don't just think of this as that's it, done deal, HODL back done, put it into a cold wallet, store there forever, and let's not touch it forever. You know what? You should definitely look into growing it over a period of time. Like how I do invest in other assets, like my properties, real estates, income, my stocks and shares. Every time, some of them actually outperform Bitcoin during a Bitcoin bear market, right? So every now and then, I'll try to add more into my HODL bag too, right? But at the same time, add into my swing bag. So make sure you kind of have that balance. So it's not kind of like here you go, I've done my HODL bag and then that's it. But continue to grow, because potentially I think Bitcoin will continue to outperform any other asset class out there. I've got into real estate much earlier in my life. If I have to start again, I'll probably just focus on Bitcoin as opposed to real estate, because real estate properties can be a pain in the ass sometimes, have to manage tenants, etc., etc. So that's it. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, hit subscribe. Become my subscribers. I'm really lacking of them, right? So I can't remember how many I've got. I think I'm on 52. So if you can become my 53 onto my 60th subscribers, leave a comment and let me know who you are. Okay, thanks. Bye.